So I came across this video of Kevin Samuels called Modern Women Have to Make a Move. And it was a particular woman that stuck out to me. She said that she divorced her husband because he was not going to be able to produce children. And that is something that she wanted. She didn't have kids, but all at the same time while saying that he has three children. So I found it kind of odd that he already has children. So the evidence is there to where he's able to produce children and she doesn't have any children. It could be a situation to where she's already been through this before, and knowing that she can't have children, especially if she couldn't have children with the person that she was with previously, she went ahead and ended things before he could. That's where I'm getting at with this. But let me go ahead and play this clip because some things are out of order and inconsistent, and they just weren't making any sense.
So I don't know, what outcome do you want? Are you unmarried?
I am unmarried. I got married a few years ago, but it didn't work out because he couldn't have children anymore. And he was unaware of that. So I immediately divorced him because children was the outcome that I wanted to have. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay, so being that she said he couldn't have children and he didn't know that before they got married, but he wasn't aware of that. Two things could have been happening. He could have got a vasectomy, but if he did get a vasectomy, that means he did know that he couldn't have any more children, and he would have been able to verbalize that before they got married. But then she said that he didn't know. But then later on in the clip, she says that he has three children. So if he has three children, that means he does know that he can have children. So something is not adding up here. The story could be made up or it could be exaggerated some type of way, because as you can see, she has a big smile on her face. She's kind of laughing in between this.
It was terrible, but like I told him from the beginning, I got married so we could have children, and then he found out he couldn't have children after we got married. So it was kind of ruthless, but so now I am actively looking.
I got one question. I gotta ask.
What?
Now, if you listen to that, she said she got married so that she can have children. It's almost like she's speaking in the third person. It's almost like she's speaking what was told to her. Usually a man says, I got married so I can have children, especially if you're a woman that is probably over the age of 40 and you had your children and you're not wanting to have children anymore, and you get with a guy and he wants to have a child with you. Usually they say, I want more children, or either I want to have a child with you. Also, if a woman is infertile and she can't have a child and it wasn't verbalized to begin with, which I believe she may not have verbalized that she couldn't have children to begin with, because you got to think he has three children. So that department is not closed for him. But it's almost like she's speaking the words that he may have been verbalizing to her, but twisting the story up to make it seem like it was him, because she don't have any children. Their marriage could have drifted apart due to the reason why she couldn't carry a child for him. And she could have been feeling the burden and feeling guilty for not being able to have this man's child, make herself feel better about the situation. She's saying that he's the one that couldn't have the children and that she was able to provide something that he couldn't participate in.
Are you a religious person? A Christian or anything?
Yes, I am. And we came, he was 15 years older than me. And I told it, and it was heartfelt because I really loved him. But at the same time, I have, my family is very, knit together, especially with children. And I told him, I was like, I can't, I told him if I was a little bit older or a little bit younger.
Well, I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to add, you see, ma'am, how do you know you're going to be able to carry children to term?
Exactly. I know. I do know that. It is, and it is.
But I'm asking because I'm curious because we often hear about how bad men are in marriage and what we don't do. But see, we don't hear stories like we hear on my show. And the matter of fact way you women talk about, I left him specifically because he could not have children. You mean your own natural children? Because if you want children, everybody wants to have their own children, but he can't. He could adopt. So he was infertile?
Well, that was the whole thing. It didn't just happen like all of a sudden we get this diagnosis and it happened. It gradually happened over like a 9-10 month period. And I told him when I told him I was going to file, I told him it's because he didn't give me any alternative. Like,
he didn't get, ma'am, hold on. What do you mean he didn't give you any alternatives? What does that mean?
No, because like adoption or
Why did he need to give you that alternative?
No, because he never talked about it.
Did you ever talk about it?
If you pay attention to that, she said that he was 15 years older than her. So right there, that lets me know, I could be wrong. It lets me know that being that he was an older man and he already had children, I believe that being that she knows her fertility status and that it's hard for her to have children or she may not be able to have children, that she was going to be safer with a man that was older and already had children, and he may not expect her to have children with him. Now, the conversation may have came up, and as you can see, she says that he didn't give the alternative of adopting. Well, he wouldn't need to give the alternative of adopting if he wants his own children. The alternative of adopting shouldn't be a question if you're saying that you can have children and he can't have children. You would want your own children. So why would the man have to give you the alternative to adopt? This is something that you consider, and this is something that you may have wanted. This is something that you may have wanted to do, being that you can't have children. So when she's saying these things, it's not making sense, but it is making sense when you put the actual person that's saying this into the place where it needs to be in the conversation. Then you will start to understand that she is the one that wanted to have the option to adopt the child and still be with this man. Because as you can see, that she says that she loves this man and she loved him, and she is trying to use this narrative to cover up the hurt that she has inside of her not being able to have a child. And if you notice that she said, if I was a little bit older or maybe if I was a little bit younger, that didn't make sense whether you're older or younger, but it does make sense if she's saying that, okay, if I was a little bit younger, he may look over me not having children because I'm young and vibrant and he's way older. Or if I was a little bit older, he wouldn't require me to have children because I can use my age as a factor of not being able to have children. So she's coming up with all these scenarios and narratives of how, if this happened or that happened, or if I had the option to adopt, if I was younger, if I was older, if I was all of these things, then it could have worked out. And the only reason why she's playing these things in her head is because she's trying to erase the facts of her reality.
Yeah, we would have open conversations about it.
Hold on. Don't calm down.
I know, my heart's beating fast.
You're putting, ma'am, I'm just telling you how I'm hearing you. I don't know if you know how crazy you sound. He didn't do anything.
That's right.
Did you go to your husband and say, well, hey, honey, what about adoption?
I did.
And what did he say?
No.
He said he did not want to adopt children.
That's what he said.
Based upon what?
He didn't feel like that was just a route he went. And
okay.
Then
this adoption, was this before or after you guys started talking about divorce?
This was right before.
And he has 3 children.
He does.
Well, ma'am, you make your bed, you lie in it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to just tell you, ma'am, Any man with character hearing this,
It was
he
terrible.
well, it's still terrible. Any man with character hearing this, you just got to know. Don't be surprised if this turns me completely off. Because even the way you're talking about it right now, it's so matter of fact, and it's kind of like, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and my family is this, my family is that. You know, have you ever have you ever tested positive on the pregnancy test?
Of course.
Of course, I don't. What do you mean, of course?
Well, I have when I was young. When I was younger.
Okay, did you terminate?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't go into the second trimester.
Well, ma'am, by see where I'm going with this? How do you know that you can? If you miscarried, how do you know you can? How do you know if he was shooting the club up? How do you know you can carry a child?
Well, no, because we went through the whole process because after we were married for like 3 years, and after
I'm talking about the first. You said you've been pregnant, but you lost the child. The pregnancy wasn't. You didn't have a child.
Correct.
You did not self-delete. You did not terminate.
Correct.
So that means there was, for lack of a better word, a miscarriage.
Correct. An early one.
Okay, then how do you know that you can carry?
Well, I mean, I don't have any medical proof, but from like my family, I would like everybody in my family, they kind of like carry even on into like their 30s. So like
All right, that's it, you guys. As you can see, she says she doesn't have any medical proof. So it's almost like she's living in denial, and she self-consciously knows that she self-consciously knows that she can't have children. And instead of just being real with that and coming to terms with that and just living with that, she is kind of living a false narrative of not putting herself in that category. And it's a sad thing. It can be a sad thing, but the route that she's going with this, not being honest with herself, not being true with herself, and not being real with the people that she come into contact with, and letting them know about her position and the possibilities, then that's going to always be a topic of conversation within her relationships. Is always going to be a concern and a downfall if she's not honest with her partner about the possibilities of not being able to have a child with that person. And I know it can be a crushing thing, but just having honest, direct communication about your expectations and your wants and needs and your status can help you when it comes to being with somebody that may be okay with not having children and may be at a point in their life that they don't want to have children as well. But if she's not communicating that to the person that she's with, she will miss out on a chance and an opportunity to be with somebody that's well fit for her.